Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Sean Arnold, and welcome to the One Man SpoilerCast video for Undertale. I beat this game last night, and I just wanted to make a video to just express my thoughts and opinions on the game and reflect upon my experiences. It's already in the title, but in case you haven't gathered, this is a spoilercast video. There are spoilers for the game, and if you're not convinced on buying Undertale yet, well, the fact that I'm actually gone out my way to make this video tells you that I think the game is worth buying. But go and check it out. It is absolutely stunning and fantastic. I did make a hey, have you heard video on that, so maybe you could check that out if you want to hear more. But I'm not going to say anything more that about buying the game. I'm just going to assume at this point you already have played the game yourself. So, general thoughts over the game. Again, there's just nothing quite like Undertale. I went in on the hype. I went in on the recommendations of others, and after hearing what other people want to say, and I have to say that at first I was kind of underwhelmed by it. My first experience of seeing Undertale was watching a video by Jim Sterling, and he was praising the game quite heavily. And I did see about, let's say, the first 20 minutes of the game there, and then I went to try it out for myself. I didn't quite get why it was so good at first, and I think it took me quite a while to get into it. But I think it was up to the point where we first meet Toriel, who is the goat mother, and where I first played that game, and I went in just completely blind and actually killed her. And I felt so bad for doing so, I had to look up a way to delete my save file and start again. And it was at that point which I decided to do a pacifist run. My first run through the game was completely pacifist. I kind of like that. When I normally play a game with a moral choice like this, I always try to go for the good route first. I always try to do the right thing before doing the bad thing. But I also like just choosing non-lethal options in video games. In some of my Metal Gear videos, I actually made a video dedicated to talking about non-lethal versus lethal approaches in video games. And I feel like given the option, I will always try to go for the non-lethal approach, just because normally you get some kind of reward in the long run in a video game if you keep more people alive. So that's just part of the reason there. But it's also kind of just a moral choice. I will never forget in Metal Gear Solid 2 when in an interview, Kojima said why he put in the tranquilizer gun, and said that he wanted people to realize that when given the choice, when put in a situation of power, you have the choice to decide whether someone else will live and die. And I don't know if the game completely reflected upon that idea, but I always just remembered that, and it always stuck in my mind. But I loved Undertale. I loved it so much. As soon as I beat the first ending, I went straight in. I got the... If you've played the game, you might already know this, but the first time you try to go pacifist, if you don't do all the side quests, you will get the neutral ending, and that was crazy. Holy crap, that ending with Flowey as the final boss, that was insane. And the way it broke the fourth wall by shutting the game down several times, forcing deleting your save file, loading the save file over and over again, so he could keep killing you over and over again. That was insane. That first ending is what I got first, and then immediately after Flowey tells you that you can get a better ending, I kind of went out my way to do that straight away. The only thing I hadn't done was made friends with Undine. I didn't know you could do that, or Undine, if that's how you pronounce it. And so I went out my way to do that, and got the true ending, which I really loved. I loved the ending of this game. It was such a feel-good moment. It was really just it made the whole journey feel worth it at the end. Just absolutely incredible. The whole ending sequence just escalates and escalates so much more. So I've got a list here of trying to do a bit of structure for this video. I'm going to talk about the game in certain parts. I've already given some general thoughts on the game, but then I'm going to talk about story first, then visual presentation, music presentation, gameplay, and then I'll probably talk about some of the characters and just other things which I really loved about this game. So the story, I thought the story was good. I thought the story really worked well for what it was trying to accomplish. The way the story changes depending on your actions was ingenious. It's not the first time I've ever seen some kind of moral system put into a video game. I think I've played games like Infamous is the first one that comes to my mind. Infamous was like the first game I ever played where you could choose to be good or evil. But this game isn't so binary where if you're the bad guy, you're doing this. If you're the good guy, you're doing that. It's more, I don't know what the right word is, but it's more natural. Yes, even though there's only 3 different types of endings you can really go for. You can go for the neutral, the pacifist, or the genocide endings. It felt like it was a bit more complicated than that. The lines were a bit more blurry than that. What I loved was how at times during my pacifist run, there were moments where, particularly, and this is mostly focused on the gameplay, but there were times where the game really, really pushed me to the limit and made me think, man, I just want to kill this person now, because it was just so hard to accomplish that. But I'll talk a bit more about that when I get to the gameplay later on. I loved pretty much most of the story. I loved going on a date with Papyrus. Papyrus is a legend. He's absolutely fantastic. I really, really liked Sans as well. One, using font names as your character names is so clever. Using Comic and Sans to make a character is ingenious. But I really liked Sans and what he became later on towards the end of the game. He was such a passive character. He was kind of just an observer. And then, you get that moment where he takes you to the restaurant by the hotel and talks about his friend that he speaks through the door and tells jokes to. And it was such a weird and strange moment where I was just like, I'm so glad I didn't kill Torio, because I wonder how that scene would have played out if you had killed Torio and Sans had approached you and said, hey, this was my friend, and she was the one that asked me to watch out for you. Otherwise, I would have killed you by now. I also really liked what Sans becomes at the end of the game. In the Genocide run, he is the final boss, I believe. I haven't actually completed the Genocide run, but I've been told about the final part of the game where Sans confronts you and says gets you to reflect on your actions. And if you have been really, really bad and you've killed most people, he is the final boss, I believe. Sans I really liked. Torio I loved. Kind of wish I didn't flirt with her and call her mum. I got called out on that later on in the game. I think my favourite character... No, I can't call a favourite character. They were all so good. But up there, some of my 2 favourite characters are Undyne. Undyne I thought was cool. Her boss battle was amazing. I thought that was really, really fun. Unfortunately, I got spoiled on the boss battle because whilst I was trying to work out what to do, someone decided to look it up on YouTube while sitting next to me, looked up the fight on YouTube, watched what happened, and then told me, oh, why don't you just run away? I wasn't very happy with that. But I think she was a great character. But I think the other great character in this game is Metatron. I love that little robot. He was insane, and what he became at the end, Metatron EX, just brilliant. Just a fantastic character. I really, really like Metatron. The story I thought was great. There was only one thing which I didn't get to do for the story, and that was send Temmie to college. I was really sad about. I really wish I did send Temmie to college. I didn't want to do the whole grinding of trying to get money in order to pay for Temmie's college, even though I've heard or I've read on the wiki that if you die a lot, the price goes down. So I should have checked what the price was, because I died a lot in this game. But I didn't want to go out on my way to start grinding for money in order to send Temmie to college. And I know it gets you some super armor or something like that, but I just wanted to see Temmie be happy about going to college. The characters in the story are just brilliant. I love the story overall. I love the moral that it had, and I don't know if I don't really want to do a genocide run. I don't want to kill anyone. I just the characters, I look at them and they're so charming. I look at them and just think, why would you want to kill them? Given the option, why would you want to kill these guys? They're so cool. I really like the story. In terms of visual presentation, I thought it was really clever. This is kind of gonna blend. I'll come back to this one later. Talk about the music later, but First, I wasn't really attracted to the visual presentation. I like retro style games, but the NES look has been kind of done quite a bit. But what I loved with the way Toby, or whoever I think Toby was the designer of this game as well. But what I love about the way this game was designed was the way it looks kind of set an expectation for me. I thought it looks like a retro game, so the character's going to be very limited in what they can and cannot do. And I always forget that with modern style retro games, you can easily just push the boundary and do things which common games or more modern games do these days. And the same goes for the music. I think I'll be able to say this better with the music as an example, but using a chiptune soundtrack is nice, and the soundtrack is absolutely fantastic. But what I loved about it is when, in order to escalate moments or make certain moments or certain boss fights seem more epic, it will bring in other live instruments in order to just amplify just make the scene seem more incredible than if it was just using chiptune music on its own. I thought the sprites were used very cleverly. I thought the one thing that made me fall in love with Toriel was just like the way she would look at you, and the way she would emote, particularly when she would hold your hand as she walked and she used to look back at you as if though she was really trying to take care of and look out for you. That I really liked. I liked the way the camera would zoom in on Sans when he would make a joke. That was hilarious. I liked the way Papyrus looked on his date. Just what a joker. The visual style of this game is fantastic. I really, really adore the style, and I love how it wasn't afraid to. Oh yeah, this is the best example. Flowery's boss fight. You wanted to show off that this character is a god. Bring in 3D models, bring out sprites, do all of that rubbish, just so that you can show that this is a character breaking the limits of the game, and that character seriously broke the limits of the game. What a creepy final boss. Holy crap, just what a freak that character was. So back to the music again. I love the soundtrack. The soundtrack is probably my biggest highlight of this. I have been listening, before I even played this game, I was listening to some of the soundtracks, because I listen to a podcast called the Super Best Friend Cast, and the person that makes the episodes, Wooly, put Asgore's boss battle as one of his as a closing theme to one of his podcasts, and that's what kind of sold me on the game. When I heard that song, I thought, wow, this song is amazing, I have to play this game. Unfortunately, I made the mistake of going to look it up on YouTube, and as soon as I searched in the name of the song, I think it's called Birkentruck. I can't say the name properly, it's something in German, but as soon as I started searching out the name, all of the soundtrack was coming up, and I saw so many different spoilers. Like, it showed me Asriel Dreamer, the true boss fight, HD music, that kind of thing. Like, so I kind of wish I hadn't done that, which is why I made that Hey Have You Heard video, just to kind of say to people, don't look it up, just play the game. Just play the game. Don't listen to anyone else. You've heard me say it, just go play the game. And then there's the gameplay. In terms of playing the game, I really love the gameplay. Because I spent most of the game dodging attacks, I wasn't actually attacking. I really liked how creative it was in terms of doing that. It always just threw me left field. I just never knew what to expect sometimes, particularly with the bosses. And I love the way they just switch up mechanics, like when Papyrus will make you blue, so you had to stand still, or when, what's the spider girl called? I forgot her name. I know what her pet's name is, Muffet, but I forgot what the spider girl's called. But the spider girl boss, when she turns you purple and you can only move between certain lines, or when you're fighting, who was it? Oh god, there was a boss. Oh yes, Undine. When you fight Undine and Undine turns you green, I think, and when you're turned green, you can't actually move around. You're stuck in one place. That was incredible. I love those moments. Also, playing the boss fights were really, really fun. I died, like I said to you, so many times because you had to learn those patterns, and it took me forever to learn some of those patterns. Undine was a good example. I didn't know you could just run away from Undine. I actually tried to fight her all the way and see her whole sequence, and so I was trying to learn how to block all her attacks. and it was really, really fun doing that, although it was so challenging to do that as well. The gameplay in the game, I just loved it. Absolutely fantastic. So, closing thoughts, just to round up this video. Man, I loved Undertale. It's really just... it filled a gap which I didn't know I had. It just tickled this itch of wanting a RPG which just makes you think and makes you just makes you fall in love with its cast of characters. I'm tempted to play it again if it wasn't for the fact that Flowey told me not to and said, listen, you got the happy ending, leave them alone, don't touch them, you know. I'm kind of happy just to leave them where they are, but I also really want to play the game again. And yeah, Undertale, wow, what a great game. What a great game. Definitely going to be on my Game of the Year list at the end of the year when I make one of those. And I'm going to say it's up there. It's definitely up there towards the top of the games of the year. And that's incredible. In a year of such good games to have come out, AAA titles, that this game here is just wow. So, guys, that's my spoiler cast for Undertale. That's what I thought about the game. Again, 10 out of 10. Absolutely loved it. Thank you for listening to the spoiler cast. Tell me what you think about Undertale. Also, may I make just a quick recommendation? If you want to see a Let's Play of Undertale, go and check out the Banana Crew. Banana Crew Gaming are doing a very good Let's Play of the game right now. They're quite early in. I think they've just gone on a date with Papyrus. And if you want to see someone else's opinions as they react to the game, I think they're really fun to watch, so go and check them out. But other than that, I've got no more shameless plugs to do, so thank you for listening to the spoiler cast, and as always, take care of yourself.